What is a voodoo doll? The term voodoo doll implies that the use of the doll in magic is specific to voodoo, and the depiction of the use of the doll in popular media implies that the doll is primarily used to harm others, but this is not the case. While a voodoo adherent may employ sympathetic practices using poppets for a variety of purposes, it is not a defining feature of voodoo. The use of humanoid figures in sympathetic magic is well established in many traditions from all over the globe for a variety of intentions, including harmful ones, but also other purposes, including healing and protection, also known as doll babies, dollies, voodoo dolls, and poppets are names given to a variety of figural images constructed by hoodoo root workers and intended to represent human beings upon whom a magical spell is to be cast or for whom spiritual work is to be performed. The word voodoo in this case does not refer to the African diasporic religion of Vodou. It is simply a common name that was long ago applied to this style of doll, handmade and stuffed doll babies. There are basically two kinds of handmade doll babies used in hoodoo: those that are personalized by attaching things to the outside and those that are hand-stuffed. Things applied to the outside of a doll include a photograph, the hair of the target, or personal body fluids, glued onto the head or body of the doll, or figural candle that represents the person. Things stuffed inside a doll can include an array of personal concerns, herbs, roots, minerals, and talismanic items. The two styles of doll may also be combined, as in the case of a hand-stuffed doll baby made of simple cloth, to which a photo of the target person's face is glued, or a figural candle, to which a photo is glued, but which is also carved with words and hollowed out at the base and loaded with personal concerns and herbs. An extremely personal form of handmade doll can be crafted for a client by a root worker who sews it from remnants of the discarded clothing of the target person, and stuffs it with herbs, incense powder, and petitions. No matter how it is made, the hand-stuffed doll baby functions both as a poppet or image of the target and as a container spell. Toy dolls and commercial dolls as poppets, commercial baby dolls or toy dolls, as well as ceramic figurines, are often prepared by experienced hoodoo practitioners as doll babies or voodoo dolls on behalf of clients. Like handmade dolls, commercial baby dolls, toy dolls, and ceramic figurines may be dressed in clothing sewn from scraps of the target's clothing or stuffed with herbs and roots. When properly fixed and prepared, they can create strong and long-lasting protection, enhance ongoing love work, and aid clients in matters of prosperity, protection, and healing. Plastic or ceramic dolls are selected by many hoodoo root workers and spiritual practitioners when they are performing a long-distance uncrossing or spiritual cleansing bath to remove crossed conditions and bad luck on behalf of a client or the client's selected target. When undertaking long-distance bathing of this type, some root workers use a plastic doll that can have the head removed and reattached. The spiritual practitioner will stuff the doll with herbs, roots, curios, photos, name papers, and other objects to personalize the doll to the target. Then name and baptize it before the bathing work is performed. Bathing a doll baby in this manner can take as long as 13 days to complete, the same length of time that a hoodoo practitioner might devote to an in-person client who requires a full uncrossing bathing ritual. After the work is completed, the doll may be retained by the root worker for future use, if necessary, or it may be ritually disassembled in a respectful and grateful manner. The specific styles of commercial doll that a hoodoo conjurer uses in spell casting for a client will depend on the nature of the work and the root worker's personal aesthetics. Classic associations with certain types of dolls lend themselves to specific work, such as Ken and Barbie dolls for love spells or Gothic dead dolls for crossing and cursing spells. Hoodoo root workers who perform protection work or blessing spells on behalf of pets may choose to work with a hollow ceramic figurine that closely resembles the client's beloved animal companion. Such figurines are usually hollow, with a hole in the bottom, enabling the spiritual practitioner to load the statue with personal concerns and protective, blessing, or healing herbs as required. The figurine will then be named and baptized for the animal. Once the work is completed, the figurine may be retained on the altar or, at the client's request, it may be given or sent to the client, where it can be displayed on a knick-knack shelf or mantelpiece, with no one the wiser that it is now actually a powerful container spell. Linking the doll to the target, as the root worker crafts the doll, it is prayed over, sometimes with every stitch. Upon completion, the practitioner gives it a name, baptizes it, causes it to be linked to the target, and commands it to follow all instructions given to it. What is told to the doll will be heard by the target. What is done to the doll will be done to the target. Wherever the doll is sent, the target must go. Working with the doll, once the doll has been linked to the target, the root worker will proceed to the actual work of spellcasting on the doll, which may include actions such as blessing with a spiritual bath, binding or restraining with cords or string, sticking with pins to cause pain, or burial in a coffin to bring about death. When figural candles serve as dollies, they are often hollowed out at the base and loaded with personal concerns of the person to whom they are linked. After having been prepared, they may treat it exactly as regular dolls would be handled, but the root doctor also has the extra option of choosing to finish the spell work by burning them as candle dolls. When the doll is sent to the client, in some cases, a prepared doll baby may be sent to the client for his or her use. This is particularly the case with love spell dolls and ceramic figurines prepared as secret container spells intended for display in the home. In the case of love dolls, your hoodoo root worker may give you extensive personal instructions. Through a spiritual telephone consultation or magical coaching session, instructing you on how to love up, speak to, and fondle the doll, and how to keep it hidden amongst your intimate apparel when not in use. Things you should know: make your doll represent someone by attaching their photo, a lock of hair, a piece of their clothing, or their name. Stick pins into your doll to represent your intentions and what you want to happen to this person, which could be yourself or someone else. Place your voodoo doll on a personal altar and light a candle. Ask the voodoo spirits, called lows, to help you with your voodoo doll, or petition your ancestors for help. Making a voodoo doll represent someone. Envision the person you want to affect. Make a voodoo doll to represent yourself or someone else. Voodoo largely depends on your connection with voodoo spirits, so you need to have a clear picture in mind of who the voodoo doll will represent. Think about this person as you assemble your voodoo doll, and repeat their name in your mind. 1. If you're not crafty, buy a pre-made voodoo doll. Use a picture to personalize the voodoo doll. Start with a full-body photo of the person you want to represent. Cut out the person's picture, trace it on a piece of felt, then fold the felt over to create two sides. Once you cut out the felt, use a needle and thread to sew the picture to the felt backing. Before you close the final few stitches, fill the doll with stuffing. Complete the stitching to finish your doll. As another option, make a paper voodoo doll by gluing a printed out photo to a piece of paper. Use cotton balls, paper scraps, or a paper towel as stuffing. Add a personal object to your voodoo doll. Maybe you've already made a voodoo doll or purchased a pre-made doll. To represent the person you're targeting, use something you got from the person. With a pin, attach something like a piece of hair, a piece of their clothing, or a paper with their handwriting. You could even just use their name. 2. Make sure whatever you use came from the person you want the doll to represent. Otherwise, your voodoo doll might not work. Cleanse your voodoo doll of energy. The materials you use to create your voodoo doll have lingering energy. Start with a clean slate by neutralizing the energy attached to your voodoo doll. You have several options for cleansing your doll, like covering it with incense or sage or rinsing it with salt water. As another option, leave it out in the sunlight or moonlight for several hours. 3. If you don't cleanse your voodoo doll, lingering energy from other people will mess up or misdirect your voodoo spell. Creating positive change, concentrate on your desires. First, meditate for a few minutes to clear your mind of distracting thoughts. While holding your voodoo doll, focus on the desired effect you hope it will bring. Set an intention for your doll, such as frowny face for healing, fertility, love, success, money, growth, power, protection. Insert colored pins to represent your desires. Traditionally, there are 7 colored pins you can use on a voodoo doll. Pick the colored pin that matches the intention you have for your doll. Here are the colors you can use and their meanings. Frowny face 5, yellow, success and confidence, green, growth and money, white, positivity and healing. Red, love and power, purple, spirituality and wisdom, blue, peace and love, black, repelling negative energies. Petition the spiritual beings of voodoo, called lows. The lows, also called lois, aren't gods, they're spirits who act as intermediaries between people and God. 6. To appeal to the lows, set up an altar and place your voodoo doll on it. Then, light a candle and offer a small sacrifice to the lows, like a snack, drink, or flower. 7. You could also appeal to your ancestors to help you. In voodoo, your deceased ancestors can bring about change in your life and provide you with other types of aid. 8. Your altar can be any flat surface. Items you can put on the altar could include a candle, incense, a bowl of salt water, crystals, and a representation of your chosen deity or your ancestors. Harming someone, insert colored pins with an intention to harm. In voodoo, pins can be used for good or evil. For instance, a red pin can help you gain power in your life or get power over someone else. Pick the colored pin that matches your intention, and really focus on what you want as you insert it into the voodoo doll's head. To control someone, insert a red pin in their head. To block someone, you might use a black pin. Appeal to a spirit to act on your behalf. Place your voodoo doll on an altar, then light a candle. Ask the lows or one of your ancestors to harm this person on your behalf. Then, offer a sacrifice, like food, a drink, coins, or a crystal. 9. After you sacrifice something, bury it in the earth or leave it on your altar if it's non-perishable. Never use the item for your own benefit, since it's a sacrifice. You don't need to sacrifice living beings to do voodoo. Sacrifices are often things like money or food. Use pins, rope, and water to release your rage on the doll. You've probably seen the classic movie depiction of a voodoo doll with pins and needles stuck all over it. If that's your jam, unleash your rage by sticking pins into the doll, tying a rope around it, submerging it in water, or anything else that makes you happy. As you do it, imagine these things affecting the person you're targeting. Stabbing a voodoo doll can actually make you feel better. Even if harm doesn't come to the other person, make sure you clear the doll of all previous energies. If the doll is in any way associated with someone else, they may experience the harm as well, and you wouldn't want that. Most experienced practitioners of voodoo suggest only to use your doll for good, because as the saying goes, what goes around comes around.